Hello, I'm Carinna Parraman. I am Professor of Design, Colour and Print and Director of the Centre for Fine Print Research. Wayfinding strategies for visually impaired are fundamental for providing social inclusion, a better quality of life, a level of independency and urban accessibility for people with special needs. Recent digital technologies can provide significant benefits such as GPS localization and text-to-speech for visually impaired by improving their interaction and navigation on unfamiliar routes. The aim in this paper is to present Bristol as a case study that incorporates a number of projects that are underway in collaboration with the Centre for Fine Print Research and Bristol Legible City. The underpinning question to all the projects is sought to ask, how can we ensure our cities are more welcoming and inclusive for everyone? This research is part of a larger body of work that seeks to understand how the City of Bristol responds to the demands of different cultural, social and economic groups. It is a city that is an important hub for creative clusters, networks and resilient cultural ecologies. And using Bristol as an example, our researchers sought to understand how design adds value to a city, explore issues of resilience and sustainability, and the impact of redistributed manufacturing at the scale of the city and the regions. Our researchers studied these issues from a number of disciplinary perspectives, bringing together experts and universities from manufacturing, art and design, logistics, operations management, engineering systems, geographical sciences and mathematical modelling and beyond. We've also used Bristol as our case study because it is a large, vibrant, busy, noisy, dense, complex city. The infrastructure of the city is subject to many revisions and reconstructions. Roads and paths are constantly repaired or rebuilt. Public transport is regularly directed and therefore for any visitor to this city may find it difficult to navigate and may also perceive it as unwelcoming. The following examples are ideas and methods that could be modified for different environments, including open spaces, museums and historic houses. In consultation with the Royal National Institute for the Blind, we addressed several core themes of the government's industrial strategy green paper, combining a focus on sectoral needs in the health, tourism and heritage industries with inquiry into the uses of digital technologies. The project scoped and researched appropriate methods of tactile map making and maps for the visually impaired that could improve their navigation around the city of Bristol. As part of this project, we sought to understand what does a city feel like, and that without the aid of sight, what different perceptions could be used to translate these sensations. We used computer-based modelling and CNC rapid prototyping technologies to develop methods that incorporated 3D printing, embedded RFID technology that links 3D printed objects and tactile paper maps to the city, street signposts and cultural information. And this project has sought to collect tangible and tactile resources that can assist visually impaired people to navigate and recall information about complex city environments, particularly large public spaces and city cultural institutions.
Hello, I'm Roberton. I'm an urban designer with Bristol City Council and Programme Manager of the Bristol Legible City project. I've been working with the Centre for Fine Print Research at UWE to develop innovative new ways of wayfinding around the city. Bristol Legible City is a unique concept to improve people's understanding and experience of the city through the implementation of identity, information and transportation projects. Bristol Legible City began in the 1990s, prompted by large-scale regeneration within the city's central area. The project is designed to be intuitive to use for visitors and residents and is resolutely user-centred in its development and innovative in its information design and presentation. This design innovation has since been adopted by cities across the UK and internationally. The most obvious manifestation of the project is the on-street pedestrian wayfinding system found throughout Bristol's central area. Extensive development work in information design, cartography and graphic representation was undertaken to ensure an accessible, connected and intuitive wayfinding system was provided. Much of this work was founded in and directed by a detailed exploration of how users apprehend, retain and make use of complex spatial information. As in the 1990s, Bristol has recently seen a huge investment in physical regeneration in its central and eastern neighbourhoods. Bristol's population is growing rapidly, as are the numbers of people visiting the city. There is a growing emphasis on providing welcoming, high-quality public realm, more sustainable, walkable neighbourhoods, and a desire for a city that works better for all residents. Critically, this vision for the city has a strong basis in local city policy, with a drive to provide a fairer, fully inclusive city that recognises and responds to the needs of all its residents and visitors. This push towards a more inclusive city is guided by Bristol's One City Plan, with city development being viewed in terms of its impact on direct indicators of quality of life for residents. It is within this context that the current phase of investment in Bristol Legible City sits. Work had begun to commission further development of the project's mapping and information products as freely shareable and useful assets for city residents, businesses and visitors. Being a largely visual system, there was a particular interest in how Bristol Legible City could be enhanced to better serve users with a visual impairment using tactile and digital resources. The Centre for Fine Print Research's work on 2.5D and 3D printing suggested a useful partnership. Working with CFPR, we explored low-cost means of producing tactile and tangible navigation aids. Early work in this included printing 3D model of the city's landmarks to test with visually impaired users in understanding the form and scale of those landmarks and their relationship to the city. Further exploration involved the integration of RFID tags into 3D printed objects to allow interaction between the object and the information about them. In addition, we worked with the production of textured prints to allow the development of cheap, easily produced 2.5D aids to the navigation using swell paper. The development of low-cost navigation aids using RFID tags and user interaction between objects and information suggested a touch-based enhancement of the existing wayfinding system. This work led to some early prototyping of basic tactile tangible objects that could be programmed to enable simple interactions with wayfinding information. Bringing these resources together during early engagement with visually impaired users has provided some valuable early evidence that smart tactile navigation aids could provide useful enhancement to the existing wayfinding system. Alongside the development of the tactile navigation aids with the Centre for Fine Print Research, work was also underway in partnership with Toshiba and UI's Department of Computer Science and Creative Technologies to upgrade Legible City's wayfinding street furniture. This upgrade was to enable the integration of new backlit mapping panels and the inclusion of a sensor and communication module to allow sensing and communication of environmental data. In addition to the sensors, the map units will include the capacity to communicate using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and LoRaWAN modules. This provides valuable opportunities for communication between the map and the user. The improvement of the on-street map units provides a series of locations across the city's central area that can be configured so that users approaching the maps can be alerted to their presence, and through the inclusion of capacitive sensors can allow touch activation. This potential has allowed for a partnership with Fabio from the Centre for Fine Print Research to develop a module for inclusion in the map unit upgrade that will allow touch-activated navigation information to be communicated to the user.
Hello, my name is Fabio Dagnano. I am an architect from Italy working on tactile surfaces for the visually impaired. I am Associate Professor at the Centre for Fine Prints Research at the UWE University in Bristol. The guidelines for design of more accessible buildings and cities differ worldwide and apply mostly to the functional part of navigation rather than to description. Tactile pavings, tactile maps, audio warnings, For instance, traffic lights are just some of the aids for blind people. These infrastructures require substantial economic investment and for this reason are generally limited. On the digital side, there are important steps forward towards the accessibility of visually impaired thanks to widespread technologies. Smartphones are widely used by visually impaired, but it's still important to note that even if we say touchscreen, well, the screen is flat as a mirror and the haptic portion is close to zero. A quick analysis of the systems that are currently in use shows a poor interaction between physical objects and digital systems. Of course, no solution is exhaustive, and the synergy between physical and digital infrastructure could help a lot. In fact, moving from A to B in an unfamiliar place implies different kinds of strategies for the visually impaired that lead to different results. As highlighted in studies regarding wayfinding strategies, the best results happen when it's possible to build a mental map of the environment, and this is easier with the use of tactile maps and much harder with the only help of smartphones. But let's now dive into the main technologies that we use in this pilot project. GPS is Global Positioning System. All the world is covered and unveiled under the satellites. GPS offers ease of use and it's almost everywhere. It's the technology behind Google Maps. Unfortunately, it doesn't work indoors and it's only one way. There's no possibility of interaction with the satellites. Bluetooth works in a medium range, let's say 15 meters, both indoor and outdoors. It's the same technology that you use with your wireless headphones like earbuds. It does not give accurate positioning unless there is a structured network of sensors called beacons. Touch allows an accurate location and description of an object, but requires physical proximity. It's the technology that you use on a daily basis on touchscreens. This pilot project uses GPS to move from different points in the city, called hotspots. Hotspots are points of interest equipped with a technology infrastructure, Wi-Fi, beacon, and touch. Hotspots can provide specific content for the blind, like audio descriptions and touch panels. But let's see how it works. Imagine that a visually impaired finds herself in a new place, such an airport. She may have dedicated infrastructure, but she has to know where it is located. In this case, a medium-range technology such as Bluetooth may help to locate objects also in the indoor environment. But like we said before, Bluetooth is not the best solution for positioning. At the opposite, sounds are precious to sharply locate objects. By simply shaking the smartphone, the hotspot emits a sound exactly like a traffic light. Touching the monoliths will allow having a voice-over description of the other points of interest and will facilitate building a mental map. The instruction will be automatically added to your journey on Google Maps. An extra layer of information will also provide descriptions and a narrative part of the journey, adding something more than only the functional information. These will lead to other hotspots in the city, building a network of urban lighthouses around the town. This is a short movie explaining the system. She finds herself in a new place. She can locate the monolith thanks to the beacons, even indoor. By shaking the phone, the object emits a sound, and so she can easily locate it. She can touch a real object with constant scale and orientation and have relevant information.
You are here. Airport, Terminal 1. Railway station. The city center. Sending your journey to your Google Maps.
While she's walking, she can have not only functional information, but also a descriptive narration.
We hope you enjoy these descriptions.
At 2 East South Street, between Salisbury and Wilmington Street.
This will help her to live the city more independently and freely.
You are here.
Working and uses low-cost open-source electronic boards like Arduino and BearTouch. This will help to develop the system around the world and to scale it up. The app uses App Inventor, which is a coding platform developed by MIT. This again will help to develop the system around the world and to scale it up. This is a short video that explains the prototype.
You are approaching EM, the third hotspot. Now, please shake to hear the sound.
As you can see, I am connected to the board because of proximity. So right now I can shake and hear a sound, and this will help me locating the box. Right now I can touch it and receive information.
2. Bois de Boulogne. It is a wooded park where the predominant flora is composed of beech. 7. In front small waterfall.
I can have my journey prepared, and this will lead me to the next hotspot.
COVID-19 has presented a challenge to realising and testing the physical outcomes of this project. However, the project continues and work carries on with Toshiba and UWI's Department of Computer Science and Creative Technologies to roll out the upgrade of the map units across the city. Equally importantly, work will continue with the project group we have developed, including the interaction designer Chloe MEINECK, to test and refine the user experience of the tactile enhancements to the city's wayfinding system.